there is always more to say. Always.
Yeah.
Rachel and I have been laughing together as we continue to talk about change, seasons of change, and the life cycle of the butterfly going from caterpillar to butterfly. Because there's a sense sometimes I think of, okay, we finished that. Let's move on to the next thing. And yet
Yep.
every time we get into it, we go deeper and deeper and deeper. So today we are going deeper into the caterpillar stage, which is about growth. It's about gaining knowledge. It's about getting fat and sassy. When Rachel said that, I was like, yeah, getting fat and sassy. And I think that there are three main things to be aware of in that. One, embrace. Rachel said this yesterday, and I was like, that right there. Embrace the season. Whether or not you know what's coming, embrace the season and give yourself permission to embrace the season.
Yeah.
Second, important, if you do know what's coming, I think you can use the caterpillar stage to prepare for the chrysalis stage, the discomfort of breaking out and the discomfort but joy of flying. So if you do know,
Yeah.
you can use the stage to prepare. And the third one is if you have absolutely no clue, go back to number one. Embrace the season of change. So Rachel, I know you have
Yeah.
tons to say about this.
Yeah. Well, and I think when I really think about the caterpillar season, the season in my life that I feel like is most representative of that. And I now look back and I see, I'm like, I've actually feel like I've gone through the cycles more than once. But the one that feels most iconic to me is the idea of childhood, education, college. So
Okay.
you go through this very linear path, which feels very much like the caterpillar. The caterpillar is just plodding along, gathering the knowledge, and then all of a sudden, the caterpillar goes through a major transformation. And I feel like, oh my gosh, how much of that is representative of the experiences we have where we're just going along, we think everything's just going to keep being nice and linear, and it isn't. So
Yeah.
I would say I don't want us to be distracted from the season, from embracing the season of the caterpillar, because there were so many wonderful things for me in those years of high school, college. Like there were
Right.
so many great experiences there and so many great learnings. And yet it was such a shock to me, I think, when I began to realize it doesn't just automatically equal this. I think I thought, oh, you just kind of continue. You just move on this linear path and everything just goes along nicely and you
Right.
just keep plodding along. And yet now I love the kind of kaleidoscope of all these experiences that I had fed into the next seasons. And then I've had that whole thing repeat for me in my life where it was like, oh, the next season, the caterpillar season felt very different as an adult who knew it was coming. So
Right.
the fact that I knew there was something different coming, even if I didn't know what that looked like, didn't feel like a shock to the system. So I think the glory of the caterpillar season is allowing ourselves that little bit of awareness that we're not going to stay in the caterpillar season.
Right.
But my energy doesn't need to go to figuring out those next seasons. It's like just gathers like, what am I passionate about right now? What am I learning right now? What do I feel myself drawn to now? And instead of like, oh, well, I have to plan this all out and I have to make sure I get this da 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 and I have to do this, like we could stress ourselves out in the season if we're
Right.
so fixated on the future, or if we're like fixated on, well, I have to do this, I have to do this. I don't think the caterpillar does any of that. The caterpillar just eats.
Right.
And it's like, oh, tasty leaf. I'll have a bite. Okay, yeah, I'm going to eat all of that. Or it goes to the next plant. No, thank you. Move on. The caterpillar is very much in its own world. And I know I mentioned this to you yesterday. I'm thinking about the caterpillars are in the weeds. I said this to Rebecca jokingly. I'm like, or worse, in your tomatoes. Um,
Yeah.
but the caterpillar has no view of what it's like to be in the sky. They're only focused on what's right in front of them. And that's okay. You can be focused on what is right in front of you right now. And I
Yeah.
also think that element of, is this a tasty leaf? Yeah, okay, take a bite. Is it not? Then don't. And I think one of the glories of really embracing the season is to not make yourself do things you don't want to do. And I don't mean this in neglect, right? I'm not saying going too far, but just like,
Right.
okay, do you want to take this course or this course? Okay, do you want to learn this art thing? Like, does this bring out passion in you? or does it feel like it suffocates you?
Right.
So, like, I think that that's part of the glory of this season is learn to know what it is you love. So you're learning, right? But allowing yourself a little bit of freedom in there to be like, okay, well, it doesn't just all have to be the base stuff, like the nature versus nurture, right? You can allow passions to come up and you can allow interest to be expressed, even if that's not where you spend all your time. Maybe you are doing something where you specifically are learning something and you're like, okay, I know I have a season that I want to get to. So I'm putting myself through this, but still allowing yourself those enjoyments and those sweet moments to savor that are interesting and different experiences that enrich your life. Because that's kind
Right.
of that's kind of adding the fat and sassy too, right? Like those things are
Yeah.
adding to your life. It's not just pure knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like all of those examples of embrace and the example of not being aware. I had a similar experience, getting into college, and I had ideas of what I wanted to do in life, but I wasn't one of those people who had up in front of me like, oh, I want to go be a doctor, like specifically.
Right.
So I got out of university, and I actually think everybody has a quarter life crisis. Everybody talks about your midlife crisis. I think everybody has
Yeah.
a quarter life
Yeah.
crisis in which
Yeah.
you suddenly get to the end of the linear pathway that you've been on through education and you hit adulthood. And in my experience, at least, adulthood has not been linear. I like you described it as the kaleidoscope of things that are happening in your life. And
Yeah.
that's definitely been my experience as well. And I also find that very beautiful because I'm like, oh, that makes it feel pretty instead of chaotic. Welcome to adulthood. It's not a linear path most of the time.
Right.
It's usually a kaleidoscope where you're like, whoa, that's beautiful, but it's a little psychedelic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that that's a great example of realizing that when I was in that season, I did just embrace it. That is what I was
Yeah.
doing. I enjoyed life. There were challenges, there were things that I experienced that were hard, but I had a good time connecting with friends and with family and adventuring and traveling. And then when I got out and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, to some degree I continued that. But all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, where am I? Which gets into the chrysalis and the goo phase, which we'll talk about later. But that big where am I is kind of a painful thing to get into. I didn't know it was coming though. Prior to
Yeah.
that, I was the caterpillar and I was just embracing that season of change. And I love the fact that there can just be permission to
Yeah.
embrace it and be in it. Because I think that takes away some of the pressure that I tend to put on myself of, no, you need to know what's coming. I didn't do that
Right.
then. When I was younger, I didn't do that. And now I tend to put that pressure on myself. You need to know. Whereas when I pause and give myself permission to embrace, it feels very different.
Yeah.
And when you were saying that earlier, I had a moment of going, oh, that's such a nice reminder as I go into seasons where it doesn't feel comfortable to not know what's coming. That
Right.
if I just gave myself permission to embrace, I felt like a weight lift off my shoulders. I was like, oh, like, yeah, I could give myself permission just to embrace. Like, that sounds so nice. What if
Yeah.
I didn't have to be so worried about what was coming and what this season
Yeah.
was giving me? But if I could just, like the caterpillar, enjoy the fact that I'm living my best life inching along the ground.
Yeah.
Which I
Well,
like.
and like it just makes me think about the different stages, and I know we're focused on caterpillar, but I just want to hit on this. Like the caterpillar is looking at what's right in front of it, right in front of it, and then the chrysalis, you can't really see anything when you're on the inside of the chrysalis,
Right.
So it's
You're
kind of
disintegrating. You have
blind
no eyes.
season. It's a blind season. And then the butterfly, you've got this view. So one of the keys about recognizing I'm in the caterpillar stage is not trying to make yourself see something the butterfly can see. Because you can't do it. You literally cannot. So what if instead you just enjoy the tasty leaf right in front of you?
Right.
Like, what if you enjoy that?
Knowing that it is getting you somewhere. And I realize the
Yeah.
caterpillar literally may or may not know that, but we as people, we do know
Yeah.
that oftentimes work that we're doing today is taking us
Yeah.
somewhere else. So even if you don't know where it's taking you, permission, like Rachel said, to sit and eat the leaf, it's okay to sit and do that and say, hey, this is going to give me something. This is going to
Yeah.
take me somewhere. Because for the
It's
caterpillar,
enriching.
that is food that
enriching.
allows it to, yes, it's enriching.
Yeah, it's enriching and make. I know both of us have traveled and had all kinds of different experiences, but and we both have degrees in foreign language, and my master's is in literature, like foreign civilization literature and languages.
And yet
It's
we
like,
both worked in corporate
Yeah.
for years.
yeah, tech, all kinds of stuff. So, but the thing is that those things have enriched our lives in ways that I still draw on the experiences I've had. I still
Yeah.
remember some of those things, and they have an impact in my life today. And I wonder if part of it is giving ourselves the freedom to not just be robots, as it were. Like, we don't have to just memorize a bunch of information and then regurgitate it. It's like
Right.
we can actually embrace that kaleidoscope. We can actually create lives and develop our personalities and learn to recognize what we love and what we don't love. And that helps get us to the places we're going to go eventually. That helps guide, that helps bring insight. It creates the well of knowledge that we can draw on later.
Yeah.
And knowledge and experience. So it's not just a bunch of book learning, it's also those experiences, and those experiences with, like, how did I feel about this thing? I didn't like it. I didn't like that thing. Okay, I'm not going to pursue that. I'm not going to make myself eat the whatever plant that doesn't nourish me the same way. And maybe it's nourishing my spirit and my soul, as well as learning to care for our physical bodies and our mental body, and how our brain works and how we engage in the world. I think it's, I don't know, I think it's a very rich season. And again, I just want to reiterate, it's a season where you can just focus on what's right up close and what's right in front of
Yeah.
you. And that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I want to add to that because of the three things, embrace is the big one, really. But and we've given an example of like when you
Yeah.
don't know where you're going, which is the third, embrace. But I think that second one of sometimes we're in the caterpillar stage and we do know where we're going. I have
Yeah.
experienced that. I'm not going to lie. I kind of love it when I know where I'm going. That gives me a sense of like, ha, I'm in control. It's probably a false sense of security there, but it gives me a sense that I'm in control.
Yes.
And I think that when you do know, you can strategically use the
Yeah.
caterpillar season to focus your learning and your growth
Yes.
on, hey, this is what's coming. When Rachel and I knew we would like to start a business, we
Yeah.
said, okay, what do we need to do that? We took trainings, we got certified,
Yeah.
we were reading, we were absorbing knowledge, we were practicing. All the certifications that we have came with peer practice and processes. We immersed ourselves in the things that we knew would equip and enable us to get through the really uncomfortable stage of the chrysalis, the change, the shifting
Yeah.
into the breaking out to do the new thing, the flight as a completely different creature. Like we knew that those things were coming in this instance. And so our caterpillar stage was preparing
Yes.
with a forethought, essentially. It's interesting because I think at the end of the day, it was still embracing.
Yes.
Just because we knew all
Yeah.
we were doing was we added a little bit more intentionality to our embracing. And so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that one is better than the other. I tend to like, oh, I like this because I like to know what's happening. I think that having permission to embrace regardless is key.
Yeah.
If you do know, you can make sure that you're spending the time and energy to get fat and sassy on the things you know that will help you to ease the transition of
Yes.
the chrysalis, of breaking out, and of the butterfly. And I also realized that as you and I have been talking about this, we don't think any of the stages are bad.
No.
They're
No.
uncomfortable. They're all
Yeah.
uncomfortable, including flight. Being a beautiful butterfly is
Yeah.
still uncomfortable, but none of them are bad. They're all
No.
good. It's
Yeah,
just
they're all wonderful.
beginning to pinpoint and recognize what each of those seasons gives you and giving yourself to
Yeah.
settle into the season. If you're
Okay.
in the caterpillar stage and you know what's coming, go pursue the things that will help you embrace it. If you don't know what's coming, embrace the things that are happening now because they're probably going to prepare you for what's coming anyway.
Yeah. And as you were saying that, I would say one thing about the caterpillar stage is that there's no performance. And I would say that's one maybe downfall of us humans, is that we tend to have a weird obsession with performing and doing everything just right. Like
Right.
it's this magic, it's the magic. If you don't do it just right, it won't happen. And it's very weirdly superstitious, right? It's a weird dynamic with our
Right.
humanity. But the caterpillar doesn't worry about it. The caterpillar's not trying to win a competition and get there before everybody else or do this or it's like just enjoy it. And when Rebecca and I are talking about the awareness of the season, we think that being aware that season's coming will help you transition when you're coming out of it. And when I think about what you just said with the trainings and all the things that we've done, like, we are not deep in that season now.
Yeah.
Rebecca and I are still learning. There's still things that we're learning, still reading, still groups that
Still
we
training.
interact with.
Yeah.
But we're not in a big push of learning and knowledge gathering and all of that. That's not where we are together in our business. And just the awareness of it, allowing yourself the freedom to embrace the season, but also preparing yourself so that you don't go through that jarring experience and then feel like, well, wait a minute, what was all the point of everything I've just done as the caterpillar? Like, you have the freedom to truly embrace this season and all the beauty that is going to add to your life and to your future, whether you are aware or not. We're just thinking there might be small changes. I'm very conscious of how many of us feel like we have to do things, and then we'll push ourselves to do something, and it instantly brings a story to mind. It makes me think of like all the tech people I worked with, and how we would often talk about taking this course or that course to learn this tech language or this thing. I remember considering doing some of those courses. It dawned on me that if I needed those courses, if those courses would serve me, I could do them at the right time. But I was aware that I would only be forcing myself to do something that I actually didn't see any benefit of, and I didn't feel a pull towards it. So my intuition, whatever you want to call it, I didn't feel any draw towards those courses. And I was like, you know what? If I need that course, I believe that course is going to come back up at the right time for me when
Okay.
I'm in season of learning. And even though I didn't do those courses, there's other courses I did do that came up, and it was like, yes, do these courses now. And giving myself the permission to like not eat that leaf and keep focusing on this thing over here was very freeing to me. You don't have to do all the things. In fact, you can't do all the things. You can't eat all the leaves. So just eat your favorites.
Oh, I love it. I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm sure you're hearing us say it, but the point is embrace it. Embrace
Yes.
the season.
Yeah.
Sink into it. Enjoy it. If you know what's coming, if you don't know what's coming, embrace it. We think that
Yeah.
regardless, you will get something out of it. This is your
Absolutely.
permission to embrace.
This is it. This is it. Yes. So thank you for joining us. As always, Rebecca and I invite you to live fully present and to create meaningful change. Have a
Yep.
great week.
Thanks, guys.